Do your abs really matter if you have hip pain? In this video, you're going to find out the answer, plus learn what you can do to help yourself if you've got hip pain. If you're trying to train your hips out of pain, or you're just trying to get them more mobile and more stable and more comfortable, then you need to understand what your abs have to do with stabilizing your pelvis. In this video, you're going to see an excerpt from the Healthy Hips workshop. This was a segment that everybody's favorite YouTube celebrity was teaching. Creepy Vincent, aka the deadlift machine, taught this segment of the Healthy Hips workshop recently here at our studio in the San Francisco Bay Area. In this segment, you're going to discover what the abs do in relationship to your hips and why you need to pay attention to them. In addition, you're going to see a quick couple ideas for how you can improve function and control so that your hips stop hurting. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you find it helpful.
Thank you for having me. So let's talk about the abs. You're all here for the hips, but let's make sure you understand why you should care about the abs. We just covered how if you can't control this, then it's definitely going to affect everything here, right? So what I found is for the long term, until someone can have adequate control of their abs, their hip issues are never going to go away completely. Like they can gain more control of their adductors and whatnot. They can stretch, they can strengthen, and it will provide relief. And sometimes that's what they need at that very moment to help them continue, right? To give them motivation. It's like, oh, I'm seeing something change immediately. But in the long run, they need to control their abs. Otherwise, none of those changes will stick because their body, if it doesn't know how to coordinate this area, it's just going to return to compensating somewhere around here. That's why I think you all should care about the abs. We want to be able to produce movement in the hips. Right? So in order to produce pure movement at the hips, we need to stabilize movement here. In other words, we need to have no movement here. We need to be able to train the body to say, hey, these muscles prevent any movement from happening here so that we can get all the movement here. And the first dissociation I'm going to talk about is lumbar extension versus hip extension. We have already covered that a little bit through the hip hinge with the overarching. All right, so an exercise that I find extremely helpful in teaching how to engage the abdominal muscles that prevent lower back overarching is the reverse crunch. In the reverse crunch, what you're trying to do is use your obliques to pull your pelvis towards your ribs. That motion. Let's have everyone try that. You don't necessarily need a dumbbell for this, but it really helps to anchor your upper body to the floor. To get pure hip extension, we need to resist extension in the lower back. And this exercise teaches you how to engage the obliques, which prevent extension of your lower back. So you're going to start with your lower back flat on the floor, and then you're going to lift your tailbone off the floor by just a few inches. We're looking for a really small range of motion here. If it helps, think about curling your spine off the floor one segment at a time, super slowly on the way up, super slowly on the way down. And if you're doing this right, you should feel things below your belly button. Imagine a line going from your outer rib cage, from the left and the right outer rib cage, down to your pelvis. And that line is shortening. That line is pulling your pelvis towards your ribs.
Are you holding it or are you going up and down?
Up and down.
To
Prevent extension. If you get someone who's actually flexion intolerant, who flexion hurts them, don't do this exercise.
Like you're saying if you're like this, right?
Yeah.
This is good for you, right?
Yeah.
What if you have somebody who's kind of like, I guess like
This exercise wouldn't be appropriate for them.
Right.
But I would say they're a rarity.
They are, right?
As Brandon just pointed out, when you go really, really slowly, you feel it.
All right, guys, I hope you are finding that super helpful so far. Those key concepts about stabilizing the pelvis really make a big difference for the long-term health of your hip joints. Now, you probably noticed that Vincent is probably not done there. In fact, he did go on teaching more about the abs and stabilizing the pelvis and exercises that you can do to improve your hip control. Now, if you want to see the rest of that whole segment from the Healthy Hips workshop, I have good news for you. We're actually making the rest of that video, the entire segment of that Healthy Hips workshop, in edited form so it's easily digestible, available for free on our website. So if you want to watch the rest of that segment, get some cool exercise ideas from Vincent on how to improve your ab control so that your hips work better, then check out the link in the description box so you can sign up for the course and get free access to not just that segment, but also a segment that Trevor taught and a segment that I taught. If you want to get that taste of what the Healthy Hips workshop is like, then this is an easy way. You get all this great information for free on our website. So check it out, and as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't. Hey, while you're at our website, don't forget to check out our events page for upcoming workshops so you can learn with us live.